Hello, students. So, in the yesterday class, we have studied about the suspension. We have studied that what is the diameter of a suspension particle and what are the different properties of a suspension particle. As well as we have studied that how true solution is classified into different types of a solution, like that of a solid in solid, or solid in liquid, or solid in gas, or liquid in liquid, or gas in gas, like that. Okay, we studied that how suspended particles, when they left undisturbed, they settle down, or they are the heterogeneous mixture, or they show the property just opposite to that of a true solution, in which it is scattered light, a beam of a light when passes through the suspension. Okay, right now today we will start with the another type of a solution, and that is known as a colloidal solution. So what is a colloid, sir, or what is a colloidal solution? So, a colloid is a kind of a solution in which the size of the solid particle is intermediate between those in the true solution and those in the suspension. Okay, so we can say that colloids are actually, they are having the size intermediate, not more than that of the this suspension, or not less than that of the true solution. So it is more in size than that of a true solution and less in size than that of a suspension. Okay, one more thing is there, that when we define colloidal solution, we always use the term that colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture in which two or more components, they combine together to form this colloidal solution. Okay. So when we go to the colloidal solution, we should learn that from where this term came. So the word colloid is come from a Greek word, and that is known as cola. The meaning of the cola, it means is glue, or the we can say the colloidal particles are the glue like particle. So how the glue appear? It is little bit translucent, not transparent but translucent. So these are the glue-like substance, glue-like particles, which we from where we derive the name, that is cola or colloids. Okay, so there are a lot of examples of colloids are there, like that of the blood, or that of the jam, or shoe polish, or smoke. All these things are the example of the or synthetic detergent, or a soap solution, or a milk. Okay, so these all are the example of a colloidal solution. So you see here, the size of the colloidal particle in a colloid is bigger than that of the true solution, but it is smaller than those of the suspension. And not only this, if you see the colloid, then colloids will appear homogeneous. Right now we had discussed that it is heterogeneous mixture, but when you see it, it appears like it is homogeneous mixture, but actually they are found to be heterogeneous when it is observed with the help of a high power microscope. Okay, so colloid, it appears that it is a true solution, and that's why it seems that it is homogeneous in nature. But when we see it with a powerful microscope, with a high power microscope, then we find that the particles are not homogeneous, but they are the heterogeneous solution. Okay, so colloids, we can say it that it is not a true solution. Okay. Now we will try to study the property of a colloid. So for this, if we shake some soap powder, okay, this is a soap powder with water in a beaker, then you will see a solution, and that is the soap solution. So this soap solution is actually a colloidal soap solution, and you can see here that it is not perfectly transparent, but you can see here the base of the spoon is here. So we can say that it is not properly transparent, but it somehow you are able to see that of the spoon by which you will mix the soap in the water. Okay, so we can say that it is not transparent, but it is somewhat translucent. What is translucent, student? The substance in which we cannot see the thing clearly, but or it which allows only a few particles to pass through it. Okay, that is translucent, like that of the butter paper. These all are the example of the tissue paper. These all are the example of the translucent. Okay, so the soap particles, if you see here in this soap solution, is the soap particles are visible to us? No, these are not visible to us, so we cannot see it by our naked eye. This gives the first property of the colloid, that the colloid's particles cannot be seen by us. Okay, the second one, if the same solution is kept for some times, if the same solution is kept for some time, then what do you observe? Do you see that the soap particles will settle down at the bottom? No, you will see that the soap particles will do not settle down, which is showing that this solution is quite stable. Okay, so here the first one, the size of the particle is small, as we cannot see it with the help of our naked eyes. Okay, and the second one is, when you kept it left undisturbed for some time, the soap particle do not settle down. Third one, if suppose you want to filter the soap solution with the help of a filter paper by the process of filtration. So, is it possible that you will collect the soap particle on the filter paper? No. No residue is left behind on the filter paper, which is showing that it cannot be separated by the process of filtration. So all this observation that you have seen here, whether it is cannot be seen by the naked eyes, or it do not settle, or it cannot pass through that of the filter paper, all these properties are basically similar to that of the true solution. Okay, now if you see, there are some of the property of this solution by which we can say that this solution also possesses the that of the suspension properties also. Like when you throw a beam of a light through it, then what happen? The particles which is present in the mixture, which is present in the colloidal solution, the soap and the water mixture, they reflect that beam of a light coming through it, and thus making path visible to us. Okay, so this is the property of the colloid, which is similar to that of the suspension, because you see, the true solution, they do not scatter light, but here in the colloidal solution it shows the scattering of the light. It means the particles, they are this much small that they cannot be seen by the naked eyes, but they are this much big enough that they scatter the light properly. Okay, you can understand this with that if you keep a colloidal solution in a dark place and you put a beam of a light through that of the colloidal solution, then you will find that the in the dark room the path of the light will be visible to that of the solution. It is because the colloidal particles they scatter the light falling on them in a different direction. Okay, and the scattered light which is scattered by that of the colloidal particle later on comes to our eyes, and by which we can see the path very clearly. Okay, so it shows both of the property, that of the uh, property of the solution and that of the property of the suspension. Now see here, what is the first property here? The first property of the colloidal solution, that it is a heterogeneous mixture. So I have discussed here that colloidal solution, it appears when you see the soap solution, it appears that it is a homogeneous solution. Okay, but actually with the help of a microscope, when you see it, then you find that they are not the homogeneous but they are heterogeneous mixture. Okay, the second one, the particle cannot be seen by the naked eye. So see, these particles are not this much big, not this much small. Even then also, if you see, then the particles will be not visible to us by naked eye. So what is the size of the particle? The size of the particle is in between 1 nanometer to that of the 100 nanometer. Before we had discussed that what is the size of the particle of a true solution, that was 1 nanometer, and suspension, that was 100 nanometer. So in that of the colloidal solution, the properties or the size of the particle, it is in between that of a 1 nanometer to that of the 100 nanometer. Okay, so it is the size is present in between the 1 nanometer and 100 nanometer. So it is, we are not able to see the particles. Okay, now see here, the solute particle, they cannot be separated by filtration. If you try to filter the colloidal solution with the help of a filter paper, it cannot be separated by this method. Okay, so the colloidal particles cannot be separated by the process of filtration. Now when you keep these particles, keep this solution for some time without disturbing it, or left undisturbed for some time, then you will find that the particles, it do not settle down when you keep it for some time. So settling of the particle also does not occur in that of the colloidal solution. Okay, it means it remains, the solution is stable. Then the next one is the particle scattered a beam of a light passing through it, and the path of the light is visible in the solution. When you see the particles, then you will find it, when you give a beam of a light to that of the solution, then you find that the beam of a light, by the presence of the colloidal particle in colloidal solution, it will get scattered in the different direction. So it helps in the scattering of the beam of a light which is thrown on the colloidal solution. Okay, so these are the different properties of the colloidal solution. We had discussed about the two things, that is a dispersed phase and dispersed medium. Dispersed phase, as you see in this picture, this is a solution in which solid particles are there and a solvent is there. So solid particles which is present in the solvent is termed as a dispersed phase or a discontinuous phase. Okay, so the solid particle which is mixed with that of the solvent particle is known as a dispersed particle or dispersed phase. While that in case of a dispersion medium, here the solvent which is in which the dispersed phase is present, that defines the dispersion medium. So we can say that the dispersion medium or the continuous medium is the medium which involves the solvent molecule. So solvent is known as dispersion medium, and solute is known as the dispersed phase. Now there is a property of a colloid. There are some specific property of colloids which include, the first one is Tyndall effect. Okay, what is Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect is the effect which can be shown by that of the colloidal particles when a beam of light is thrown over the colloidal solution. So we can say that when a beam of light is when it is thrown on that of the colloidal solution, the colloidal particle, they scattered that beam of a light which is coming to its path, and that effect is known as a Tyndall effect. You can understand it with this. Now see here. When a beam of a light is passed through a colloidal solution, the colloid particle which is present in that of the colloidal solution, they scatter the beam of a light, and due to scattering, you know that anything is visible to us just because of the reflection or just because of the scattering. Okay, so here when the light falls on that of the colloidal particle, the size of the colloidal particle is this much that they can reflect or they can scatter that light in a different direction. Okay, and this scattering of the beam of a light makes the path visible in the solution. Okay, so we can say that due to the presence of the colloidal particle, the path is visible in that of the solution. Okay, this effect due to which the path is visible or due to which the colloidal particles scatter the beam of a light, that effect is known as a Tyndall effect. Okay, it is very important, this Tyndall effect. Most of the time question is asked that write a short note on a Tyndall effect, or how colloidal solutions show the Tyndall effect, or what is Tyndall effect. So you will write this is the Tyndall effect. Now see here, Tyndall effect, you can see in Tyndall effect when when light enter a room through a small hole due to scattering of the light by the dust and the smoke particle. You see that in the light, when your room is closed and due to ventilation, you will see that or due to ventilation or the small holes which is present on the ventilation, the light, they come from that small hole, and this is basically, and you can see the path which is covered by that of the light through the small hole is very visible to us. Why is it so? Because the colloidal particles which is present in the air, they help to scattering the light, and as the light gets scattered due to the colloidal particle, we are able to see the light path which entering in the room. You can see the Tyndall effect also in the dense forest. So this, if the two leaves are there or two trees are there, and there is a small hole between or there is a small gaps between that of the leaves, then you will find that from there the light which is coming from there, from that particular space, that is visible to us. So that also comes in a Tyndall effect, and here due to the presence of the water droplet into that of the mist, they are responsible for the scattering of the light. There are many examples, like you can see here. This is we are talking about where from this window you see light is visible to us, the path of the light is visible to us, which is showing the Tyndall effect. Not only this, you can see here in the forest, due to the gaps, the space present in between that of the leaves or the trees, from where the light is coming, and you can see the light, the path of the light, we can see it very easily. Okay, or here In this colloidal solution, the path of the light is visible to us. Okay, so this effect in which colloidal particle, this scatter the beam of a light which is coming on it and help in making the path visible to us, that effect is known as a Tyndall effect. Okay, now we will talk on another kind of a property which is shown by that of the colloidal particles in the colloidal solution. So you see the colloidal particles which is present in the colloidal solution, when they are in the solution, they are moving in a random direction, and due to which they get collide with the other particles which is present on the path of that particle. Okay, so if these are the colloidal particles, so you can see here, if this is the path, then it will collide with this of the next colloidal particle, and due to which the direction get changed, again it collide and direction get changed. So you can see here that in a colloids, when you see it with the help of a microscope, then the dispersed particle or the dispersed phase or the solid particles which is present, or the colloidal particles which is present in the solution, they are moving rapidly, and they are moving rapidly since the colloidal particles they collide with each other due to movement, and due to which they start showing a type of a motion, and that type of a motion is known as zigzag. Okay, so due to rapid motion of the colloidal particle in that of the colloidal solution, they collide with each other, due to which there is a change in the direction, and that kind of a motion is known as a zigzag motion, which occur in the dispersion medium, or which occur in that particular solvent. Okay, that motion is known as Brownian motion or Brownian movement. Okay, now this motion in a colloid is one of the reason why particle remains suspended indefinitely. We are saying that when we kept this colloidal solution left undisturbed for some time, then what you will observe, you will find that the particles they are heterogeneous, but they never settle down. Okay, they remain suspended in that of the solution. Basically, it is due to that of the Brownian movement that the particles, they are always in a rapid motion, so they continuously collide with each other. So they are always in the motion, or they are always following the zigzag path, due to which when you keep it left for some time, the particles they remain stable, they do not settle down in the beaker. Okay, so this is the reason, the Brownian movement is the reason for not settling or not sediments of the sedimentation process take place in that of the colloidal solution. So here no settling of the particles will take place. Okay, although it is a heterogeneous mixture. So this is a Brownian movement. So now we had discussed that how the dispersed phase and dispersed medium they are differ from each other. So dispersed phase or dispersed particle are the substance which we use to dissolve. These are the colloidal particles which we use to dissolve in the solvent, and that is known as a dispersing medium. Okay, so dispersed substance or dispersed particles, they are the solid particles, or they act as a solute, okay, which we take in a small amount. That is a substance which we dissolve in another substance, and that substance which dissolve the dispersed particle in it, that is known as dispersion medium. It is very much similar to that of the solute and the solvent. Solute was what which we take in a small amount, and solvent was what which we take in a greater amount. Solute which get dissolved in that of the solvent, and solvents which help in dissolving that of the solute in it. So here also we will do the same thing. In the dispersed substance, it is in smaller amount and it get dissolved into another substance, that is known as dispersing medium, and dispersing medium, it help in dissolving the dispersed phase in it. Now see here, if suppose, now there are some of the dispersing medium, dispersed phase as well as dispersed medium, when they combine together they form a type of a colloid. So here we had classified the colloids into different types. So now see here, as we studied in that of the solution, in which if we take solute as a solid and solvent as a liquid, or we can take a liquid as a solute and liquid as a solvent, then it will form a different type of a substance. Here also we have to do the same thing. Now colloidal type is aerosol. How? When the dispersed substance, when the dispersed particle is a liquid, and the dispersing medium in which this substance have to get dissolved, have to be added, that is a gas. So we can say it like liquid in gas. Okay, then it form a type of a colloid, and that is known as aerosol. Okay, aerosol, a lot of example of aerosol is there, like that of a fog or spray or aerosol itself. Okay, so this is the type of a colloid in which liquid is placed in that of the gas substance. Then the second one, if solid is the dispersed phase and the dispersing medium is the gas, again gas. Okay, so here solid in gas, then again it will form the same type of a colloid, and that is known as aerosol. So either liquid is dissolved in that of the gas or solid is get in the gas, both will form the aerosol, although these both type of aerosol occur in a different material, like in smoke or in that of the airborne germs. You will find that liquid substance is present, solid substance is in the gas medium. Okay, now see here, if suppose we take dispersing medium as a liquid and gas is dissolved in it, okay, we can say gas in a liquid, then it form a type of a colloidal substance, and that is a foam. Okay, like whipped cream. Okay, whipped cream is a cream like that we use for the shaving cream also, or soap suds. These all are the things which is in which the gases, they are the dispersed phase, while that of the dispersion medium is the liquid. Now when the dispersion medium as well as that of the dispersed phase both are liquid, okay, then it will form emulsion. Okay, most of the time this question is asked that what is emulsion. Then you will write that when the dispersed phase as well as the dispersion medium, both of them are in a liquid state, then it will form emulsion. Okay, example, milk. Best example, mayonnaise we used on the butter. So mayonnaise or milk, both are the emulsion. In some of the book you will see oil in water or water in oil. Both of the case is liquid is there, so it will form a emulsion. Then dispersed phase is a solid and dispersion medium is a liquid. Then it will form solid in a liquid. You know the term we use in the solution, that it is a solution. Here we use sol. Okay, that is a sol. And examples are like that of the paint. You add the color and dyes in the that of the liquid substance in the water, or clay. These all are the gelatin. These all are the example in which a solid dispersed particle is placed in the liquid. The solid dispersed phase is added in that of the liquid dispersion medium. Now, if the dispersion medium is solid and dispersed phase is a gas, okay, now just opposite to that of the gas, solid in gas. Now here is gas in liquid, then it forms a solid foam. Here we were using a term that is aerosol, but here we use a solid foam. Okay, marshmallow or styrofoam, these all are the example of a solid foam. Now, when the dispersed medium is solid and dispersed phase is a liquid, then it will form solid emulsion. When gas was there, it was forming solid foam. When liquid was there, it was forming solid emulsion. Butter, cheese, these are all are the example of this solid emulsion. Then last, when the dispersed phase as well as that of the dispersed medium both are at a solid state, then it will form a solid solution, or we can say solid sol. Okay, solid sol is there. Example, ruby glasses. Okay, beads. So ruby glasses, these are the example of a solid sol. So this is the different types of colloids.